Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, How Can Web Apps Complement Your AI Journey? In this session, we will explore how custom web apps can help businesses enhance AI usability, integrate AI seamlessly into existing workflows. Whether you're driving AI initiatives or working with AI applications or looking to scale your organization, in this session, we will provide valuable insights, practical strategies, and technology options to help you leverage custom web apps effectively. First of all, a brief introduction. I'm Shya, a data and AI consultant, and I'm joined by my colleague Unna, who you'll hear from shortly. Today, we work across various industries and technologies, helping businesses harness AI and data effectively. Today, we are presenting from our Bangalore office. A quick introduction of Thorogood for those of you who are new. We are global and independent consultancy specializing in data and AI. Our services range from strategy and data architecture to implementation support and user training. Although Una and I are based in our Bangalore office, we also have offices in London, America, Brazil, and Singapore. What really sets us apart is our ability to focus on critical business questions and challenges, combined with deep understanding of available data and how it can be leveraged. We also stay at the forefront of technology, utilizing the latest capabilities to create tailored solutions that drive real business value. It's the combination of business insight, data expertise, and technology knowledge that gives us a leading edge in delivering impactful solutions. We've worked across various industries, including consumer product goods, healthcare, pharma, finance, and banking. You may even recognize some of the brands we've collaborated with. And if you've ever worked together before, you might even spot your own logo. While we have created custom web apps for many of our clients like Unilever, Boston, Cigna, today we will be seeing a couple of examples where Una will walk us through the use cases from our work together with Oxford University Endowment Management shortly. As I mentioned, we are an consultancy. That means we actually partner with key players in the industry while also working with niche suppliers where we identify innovative products or unique capabilities that add value to our clients. Okay, so before we talk about custom web apps, we'll talk a bit about AI and web apps and where they can truly add value. So AI is evolving rapidly, and with breakthroughs in it, like machine learning models that can predict customer behavior, generative AI that create text, image, and even code, and multimodal AIs models that process text, image, and voice all together. We also have powerful AI chips that enable real-time analytics at scale. But the key question isn't about just adopting AI. It's about integrating it strategically to drive real business impact. That's what we'll explore today. But the goal isn't just to use AI. It's to solve the real business problem where AI makes a tangible difference. Let's take, for example, we're actually working with a client on a dashboard recommendation system. They have numerous dashboards, each answering different businesses, but users often struggle to find the most relevant one. By leveraging AI, we can analyze these queries and suggest the right dashboard instantly, improving efficiency and decision making. This is the kind of AI application that makes a meaningful difference rather than forcing AI into every process. We should focus on where it can truly enhance business outcomes. Of course, not every AI use case needs a web app. If you have a simple automation task, such as predicting stock levels for an internal report, direct API calls might be enough. However, in cases where AI is user-facing, where decision makers need to interact with AI insights, a web app becomes essential. It bridges the gap between AI models and real-world applications. So, where does custom web app really fit in? So AI models generate output that often does not have user-friendly outputs. But web apps can transform this data into something actionable. Let's take an example. When we use large language models, let's say for a customer sentiment analysis, the raw output might be a complex JSON file containing sentiment scores and key phrases. A custom web app can actually take the data and present it in an intuitive dashboard with visualization, sentiment trends, keyword highlights, and actionable insights, making it easier for business users to interpret and act upon it. So today we'll explore how custom web apps can maximize AI value and where they can truly add necessary business use cases. Now, let's try to understand what a web app is. Essentially, it's a software application accessible through browser, allowing businesses to custom logic workflows tailored to their needs. For example, Microsoft Power BI Service, it's a web app designed for viewing and interacting reports and dashboards, which we all use day to day in businesses. Now, when we talk about custom web apps, these are built specifically for business use cases. For instance, a company may develop sales performance dashboard that not only displays data but also leverages AI to provide personalized insights, forecast trends, and recommendation actions, going beyond the standard reporting to drive business impact. Now, custom web apps actually act as a bridge between users and AI. They handle user input, process them into the right format, and then send to the AI model. Without proper interface, users may struggle to interact with AI efficiently. For example, a custom web app lets user upload audio or speak directly into microphone. It then converts audio into text before sending it to a AI-powered transcription model. Without this web interface, users would have to manually interact with the AI model, making the process complex and inaccessible. Now, think of a scenario where users have given the input through the custom web app. Then the AI models generate the raw outputs. It can be in the form of numbers, text, prediction, but they may not be useful in their raw form. Web apps refine these outputs into meaningful insights, reports, dashboards, and visualization that businesses can actually use. But beyond just displaying results, web app can trigger actions based on AI decisions. They can send alerts, update databases, or even automate business processes. Finally, web apps ensure that AI fits seamlessly into business operations. Since they're fully customizable, businesses can tailor the way AI interacts with users without worrying about technical complexities. Continuing from the previous example I just quoted, imagine a sales team using a voice-activated dashboard to fetch reports and receive AI-driven insights. Instead of switching between multiple tools, the web app actually can integrate everything into a single interface seamlessly. We will be looking into a similar use case during the demo shortly. But in summary, web apps don't just act as a front end for AI. They enhance usability, automate actions, and make AI adoption practical for businesses. Whether it's capturing inputs, refining AI responses, triggering workflows, or ensuring flexibility, web apps unlock AI's full potential in a way that's both user-friendly and scalable. When we talk about integrating web app into web applications, businesses have multiple options depending on their needs, technical expertise, and scalability requirements. These broadly are classified into two options: fully customized web app and a low-code option. Once we decide on the approach, we also need to integrate AI models, which brings us to the model builders. Let's explore how these elements come together in the real-world scenario. Let's start with fully framework-based web apps, which are built using popular frameworks like React, Angular, Vue for the front end, and Fast API Flask for the back end. These frameworks allow businesses to create tailored custom web app with complete control over functionality and UI performance. Custom web apps are ideal when businesses need complex logic, high scalability, and seamless integration with existing enterprise systems. However, they actually require a skilled developer and a longer development lifecycle. Now, what if the businesses doesn't have the resources to build a custom web app from scratch? That's where low-code and platform-based solutions come in. Platforms like Databricks apps, Power Apps, Google Apps Sheet allow businesses to build web apps with minimal coding effort. Low-code platforms are great for rapid deployment, especially when businesses need internal AI application without heavy customization. They enable AI adoption without the complexity of full-stack development. Whether you're choosing a custom web app or a low-code or platform-based option, you still need AI models to drive intelligence. That's where model builders like OpenAI, Amazon Lex, Vertex AI, and Google Vision API come into play. These tools develop, train, and deploy AI models that can be integrated into either type of web app. In both the cases, model builders provide the intelligence, while the choice of custom or low-code determines the level of flexibility and scalability. To sum up, the businesses have two main options for building a custom web app: develop using a web app framework for flexibility and control, or low-code option for ease and speed. Regardless of the approach, AI models built with tools like OpenAI, Vertex AI, Google API Vision are what brings intelligence to these applications. The key to these is choosing the right balance between customization, development effort, and the business impact. Now, let's look at how to future-proof web apps when integrated with AI. One challenge with AI development is that the model keeps changing, and a company can start using one model today but switch to a more advanced model later because of the rapid advancements happening in AI. If AI is tightly embedded into a web app, making that change can be complex and expensive. The solution: design web apps to isolate AI interactions in a dedicated layer. This way, businesses can swap AI models without having to rebuild the entire application, but just applying the customization that is required. This ensures flexibility and long-term adaptability. Now, this brings us to today's demo, where Unna will showcase the use cases, how businesses are applying custom web apps effectively.
All right, let's dive into some real-world use cases we've worked on for our clients. The first use case is about the external-internal product data mapping. Let me tell you how this came up. A global tobacco company needed a simplified product mapping using AI. They had to match their external data from a third-party vendor with their internal data, and doing it manually was slow and inefficient. While AI took over a big part of this process, significantly reducing the manual work, but the users still face some challenges. Let's have a look at some of those. First, while AI handled most of the mapping, human review was still crucial. The company needed a way to double-check the AI's work to ensure the accuracy. Next was giving users more control. They wanted to be able to fix small things like adjusting spaces or hyphens in the product description or updating the product codes without having to have to call the DevOps team for every little change. And then there was the issue of multiple users handling multiple brands. Things were all over the place, and keeping the mappings consistent was becoming a real challenge. Let's see how did we mitigate this. To tackle these issues, we built a custom web application to make things easier. First, we added a feedback feature. Now, when the users review the mappings, they can provide the feedback and the AI learns from it, making the whole system smarter over time. Then we introduced inline editing. It works just like Excel. Double-click a cell, make the change, and save it. There was no need to call the DevOps team for this small change. And finally, we made the multi-user collaboration seamless by creating a user interactive web pages. Now, multiple users can access the same data in a shared interface, ensuring everyone is on the same page with required visibility. Let me show you how this looks in action. This is how the application looks like. This is exact copy of the application. To maintain the confidentiality, we have ingested the grocery data. As you see, on the leftmost corner, there is a feedback feature which enables the user to click the thumbs up and thumbs down icon. By clicking the thumbs up icon, the user indicates that the attribution is correct, and by clicking the thumbs down icon, he indicates that the attribution is incorrect. They can also do multiple attribution approval as well by clicking on the checkboxes and then clicking the approve attribution that's there on the top right corner. Now, to do the inline editing, the user double clicks on the cell like an Excel one, and that enables a editing pop-out, and using which the user enters the product description accordingly, and then clicking on the save changes will save the data in the database. They also have a filters option in the rightmost corner, using which the user can filter out the records that are relevant to them by filtering it on the product code or product description or brand, rather than going through multiple records and then making their particular change. This helps them to filter only the specific records. This is one such use case. Let's take a look at some other use cases as well. This one is for Oxford University Endowment Management, as mentioned earlier. They wanted to have investment analysis with generative AI. Their analysts had to go through thousands of investor reports every quarter to identify trends and insights. This was incredibly time consuming and labor intensive, and they needed AI to help them extract key qualitative and quantitative data quickly. The Gen AI model reduced the effort of browsing through the reports and retrieving the information, but there were still some nuances which user wanted to improvise. Let's have a look at some of those. One big issue was the citations and the references. While the AI pulled in the relevant information, the analysts wanted more information along with the response to get more context from the retrieved information and collate further for their reporting insights. And another problem was the relevance of the citation. They wanted a way to tell AI whether a citation was useful or not, so that the model could improve over the time. And finally, there was the challenge of accessing only specific reports related to a particular fund. Since managers handled different funds, they needed a way to ensure only they saw the relevant data and not data from a wider group. We mitigated this by introducing some of the features in our web application. We created a clickable citation that could take them straight to the relevant section in the document. We also added a feedback feature so that the analysts can mark the citations as useful or not, helping the AI learn better over time. And to make sure right people see the right data, we introduced filtering options. Users can restrict the retrieval to a specific fund or a quarter or a year. Let me show you how it looks in action. Again, this application is also an exact copy of the original application to ensure the confidentiality, and it's fed with hundreds of publicly available earnings report of the technological companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, etc. So I've asked a question by filtering it for the company Microsoft. I've asked what does Microsoft do? And the application gave me a result with what Microsoft does along with few citations. Now, by clicking one of the citations, it directly takes me to the citation to the page from where it has retrieved that information from the page number 2. Similarly, if I feel if the citation's information is not right and the users can click this particular dislike button that's there along with the response, which opens up the pop-up, and they can feed in whether the citations are wrong or if the entire information is incorrect or irrelevant, and then clicking on submit will feed it back to the AI model. The other way is to know if it is retrieving only the right set of information from the right pool. So now I'm going to ask another question, say, what does Nvidia do? Since I've restricted the pool to only Microsoft document, the model is going to tell me that it doesn't have the relevant information to provide me insights on. As I mentioned, it says the requested information is not available in the retrieved data, and please type for another query or a topic. This ensures that it's only retrieving from the pool that I have mentioned it from. And in case if the user wants to reinstantiate the conversation and start afresh, they can click the clear chat and it starts new. This is with this particular web application. Let me show you another use case as well, which is slightly different from what we've discussed from the first two. This comes from a global medical technological company that needed help with the product portfolio management and forecasting. Their goal was to help the leadership team test hypotheses, make data-driven decisions, and align their strategies more effectively. But they had a few requirements to address while building the web application. Let's see some of the requirements that they had. One of the key challenges that the regional team had during the meetings was the time spent in navigating to the reports and retrieving the relevant information. In a group of 15 to 20 members in a meeting room, there was always a need for a particular person to interact with the chat application with the questions that they had and then retrieve the information. So keeping all this in mind, we created a web application that had a voice-enabled feature that mitigates the need for a dedicated person to type a question and then retrieve the insights. And also, to avoid the time taken to navigate through the reports, we integrated the Power BI reports along with the web application so that they could all see the report as well as the numbers simultaneously. Now, let's have a look at this particular application to get a clear picture of how this looks like. Hi, Noah. So Noah is recognizing my particular voice and trying to give the insight.
Would you like to start by looking at the sales overview?
Yes, please.
The total sales value for all countries in 2024 is 139.06 billion euros. For more information, please refer to the report on the right.
So as you see, Noah has given me a response saying that the total sales for all the countries in 2024 is 139.06 billion euros. And it's also trying to load the report that is getting this particular information. Taking some time to load. As you see, it has brought up that particular report with the countries being all and the year filter being 2024, it gave me an insight of what the total sales value is and also showed me what the top channels and brands that contributed to this particular sales value. Now, I'm going to type in a question and ask, what is it for a particular country's sale? So I'm going to ask, what is Spain's sales value in 2024? So now I'm giving a particular filter to it, where I'm filtering it for a particular country, and it's going to give me an information saying that it's 18.73 billion euros. And the report in the right also reflects accordingly and shows what are the top channels and brands that contributed to Spain's sales value. So with this, we have discussed all the use cases that we had planned for the day. Let's see what are the key learnings that we had from today's session. Every use case is different. Some might need a simple low-code application and some might need a custom web application like the ones mentioned in our use cases. Whether to go for a web app or not relies completely on the business use case. Next comes the interactivity. Interactivity makes a big difference. Features like inline editing and filters enhances the AI's functionality and makes it much more easier to use. One of the important aspects is the need for the human in the loop approach, where feedback is the key. While AI is powerful, user input helps it fine-tune better and improves their accuracy. And finally, let's talk about the seamless integration. We've seen this in action with the MedTech and OEM use cases, how bringing in multiple tools together into a single connected experience makes all the difference. Imagine a system where your insights aren't just locked in reports, but are actively working for you by integrating with Power BI, enabling voice interactions, and allowing users to engage directly with the dashboards and documents. We are making data more accessible than ever. It's about reducing the manual effort, streamlining the workflows, and ultimately empowering the users to make smarter decisions faster and with less friction. At the end of the day, it's all about the usability, flexibility, and collaboration. Let's see how Thorogood can help you here. We have a proven expertise in delivering web applications along with AI that drive business transformations for global organizations. We have deep experience in shaping our customer requirements and leveraging AI to solve complex business challenges effectively. We also have a technology agnostic approach with strong partnership with other vendors, and expertise in integrating AI into scalable web applications. We also have multidisciplinary teams specializing in web apps, AI, and data, covering a full stack development, AI-driven automation, and advanced ML techniques. Our global scalability through a distributed high-performing teams ensure rapid deployments and continuous innovations. With this, we have come to the end of this webcast. I hope that you have enjoyed our session and found it useful. Please feel free to reach out to us if you would like to know more about our solution and how it would be used in your business scenario, or if you have more general questions around data and AI. Thank you and have a good rest of the day.